part one of a two-part training on approvals in dispatch. These two concepts are very related to each other in Latchel. So you can either approve or automatically dispatch work orders. There's also budgets and invoices to approve, and then you can have your owners do approvals as well. And then for dispatch, there's a few different options you have for whether or not it's automatically dispatched, manually assign a service provider, or how things get scheduled. This portion of the video is all about approvals and managing approvals. And then in another video, we will talk about dispatch. So there's three different types of approvals broadly inside of Latchel. Work order approvals themselves, so approving to move forward with work, period. And then invoices and budgets. So a budget approval would be on a work order if there's an estimate for going over the budget. And then you can also approve certain types of invoices after the work is completed. And then the third type is owner approvals, whether or not the owner themselves are in the loop for approving things or if it's strictly on the property manager's responsibility. So you can find these work order and budget approvals on your main dashboard when you log in, or if you go to the maintenance view and see in the different columns, you can see what needs to be approved there. And also you receive an email whenever you need an approval if you have email notifications turned on. Additionally, you can request text messages if you want those approvals. So just ask us and we can turn on texting for different types of approvals if you want to receive a text notification when your input is needed. So if you're logging in, you can find these needs approvals by going to your main dashboard and filtering based off of status. That's up here, it says state. And then you can select the different states. So needs approval or needs owner approval are the two states you would select to see the work orders that need approval. Or if you're in the column view, there's a similar drop down and you can see just filtering just for needs owner approval or needs approval, and that will just filter on just those inside of the pending column. Those are the ones that aren't going to move forward unless you act on it. So your action is definitely required to help these work orders move forward. When you actually go into the job themselves, there's a quick action that pops up where you can approve or deny right there. Or if you hide those because you want to investigate what's going on, there's a quick action to approve it just in the upper right corner. You can just act right there to allow that work order to move forward or approve the budget. Now, if you deny it, you can do that from the first quick action, or if you hide it and this is no longer visible, under other actions, you'll see deny as a quick action that's available for you to do on that work order. Now, when you approve an initial work order, you get to set what that approved budget is and maybe change what the approved budget is. We put in the default based off of your account settings, which are customizable, and we'll get into how you can customize that on your own later. Once you approve it, optionally leave any notes and just hit submit. The service provider is notified, or if there's no service provider there, then the system will begin dispatching based off of your preferences. Now, there's also another budget approval when somebody puts in an estimate. The system will show you what the current budget is, what the new estimate is that the service provider left, if there's any notes that they left, and then you can approve it right there. Or if you close it out, you can deny it through a different action. Now, if you don't want to be the first person in the loop for making approvals, you can have your owners do approvals themselves, or maybe some of your owners actually require this as part of their management agreements with you. So to modify or manage any of this, you would go to People and select Owners, and then on the owner, on their main page, there's a details section with maintenance communication settings. You can turn on or off. By default, all of these are off. There's various account settings that can change these defaults, but by default, these aren't on for owners. And you can turn on whether they get notified when a work order is created, or for approvals, maybe they want to approve work before you proceed at all, before even having any kind of estimate whatsoever, or budget approvals. Whenever something comes over their agreed to budget, they're the first one in the loop for those. Turn either of those on, and that communication goes to the owners. If you're on Gmail for your email, you can actually have an integration so that email is sent from your account, entirely from your account, and not from Latchel either. There's some other approval settings as well. You can get to this through account settings. You do that by clicking on your account profile in the upper right, clicking account settings, and then there's a tab, severity and responsibility. That will tell Latchel as a system how you want work orders to be handled. And if you select the needs pre-approval option, whenever a new work order comes in for that property that has this type of problem in that location, then it will go to you or your team to approve the work order before anything proceeds. Otherwise, if it's normal or urgent, it'll proceed with dispatching. If it's emergency, our team will do additional troubleshooting and we'll move forward. But needs pre-approval is the key thing for this setting, where if you want to approve work orders before they get dispatched in Latchel, that is how you would control and configure that. There's a last section about how to control your budget approvals. There's two different types of budget approval settings. One is just the main work orders come in. We have the concept of a soft limit and a hard limit, and we have different ones for normal versus emergency work orders. Now, what a soft limit means is this is the amount that's shown to the service provider initially on a work order. We usually recommend, this is a funky configuration because it has a higher amount under soft limit, but we recommend you put what you're comfortable paying for a trip fee or an initial visit. We usually see around $150 to $200 for this amount. That's what they see, and they're allowed to spend to get an initial visit done, maybe do some initial work. The hard limit, which is usually a higher number, is the amount that you're authorizing the Latchel system to automatically approve without asking you or your team for permission for that service provider. So if they're on site and they're like, hey, there's an additional part required, it's going to be an extra $100. If the amount of their visit plus that extra amount is below the hard budget limit, the system will automatically approve it for them so that they don't have to contact you, don't have to do an extra trip visit, and it saves your team that extra time. So it's up to you how much you want that. We usually see our customers put in $150 to $200 here in the soft limit, and then either what their standard management agreement is, whether it's 500 or 400, or maybe an amount slightly below that so their team reviews for those borderline cases. In emergencies, we recommend having a higher pair so that your team doesn't have to do as many notifications or get as many calls about emergency situations. It allows those work orders to get done faster. So that's a work order budget limit approvals. Now, for customers that have payments to their own existing service providers via the Latchel platform, you would have to turn on preferred service provider payments. And then there's an additional approval setting. The invoices above whatever amount you set here will require your team's active approval before they're paid out. Below that amount, they get automatically paid. It's a time-saving feature for some people. Some people will put this down to $0 so they review everything, and you would just change it to what you want your preference to be, only if you're paying your preferred service providers on the Latchel platform. If you're paying off-platform somewhere else, just make sure that this setting is off. It's off by default, and you wouldn't have to worry about this feature. Okay, if you're dealing with budget approvals or other rules and you need some help or you have suggestions on how to make it better, email us at success@latchel.com. We can help you out, point you to the right resources, or take the feature request and get it prioritized. Thank you for your time.